5 powerful steps to make your marriage feel new again. You don't just wake up one day and find yourself disconnected from your partner. It happens slowly, almost silently. It sneaks in between soccer practices and office deadlines. In the quiet moments when you're both scrolling through your phones instead of talking. In the evenings when the TV speaks more than either of you do. You love each other, but somehow, somewhere along the way, the spark faded, and if you're honest with yourself, the marriage feels more like a partnership in logistics than a love story. But here's what I want to tell you today, it doesn't have to stay that way. A new feeling in marriage is not something that happens by accident. It's something you create intentionally, gently, and one step at a time. You don't need a lavish vacation or some grand romantic gesture to feel close again. You just need to show up differently. Together. And today, I want to share with you 5 powerful, everyday steps that can help your marriage feel warm, alive, and brand new, even after years of routine. Step 1. Schedule as time and treat it like a sacred appointment. The truth is, most couples only spend time together when it's convenient, which is to say, almost never. Work, kids, chores, life gets in the way. But love can't thrive in the margins of your calendar. It needs space, intention, and priority. So I want to encourage you to choose a regular time. Maybe it's a Wednesday night dinner, or Sunday morning coffee, or the first Saturday of every month. Whatever you choose, block it out. No reschedules, no excuses. This is your time, just the two of you. Don't stress about making it romantic or expensive. It can be a simple walk around the block, lighting a candle over takeout, sitting in the car after the kids are asleep, holding hands and talking about anything but bills. I once met a couple in Scotland who called this their evening talk every Wednesday. They'd turn off their phones, make 2 cups of tea, and just sit across from each other and talk, really talk. They did this for 6 months, and their relationship transformed, not because of anything dramatic, but because they began to see each other again. Step 2. Refresh the spaces where you live and love. When your environment stays the same for too long, it starts to echo routine. It can silently influence your mood, your energy, even your level of affection. You don't need a renovation, just a refresh. Rearrange the bedroom. Buy a new bedsheet in a color that lifts your spirits. Place a candle on the dining table and light it even on ordinary days. Put fresh flowers on the windowsill. Better yet, make this a shared project. Let it be something you do together. Create a space that reflects not just who you are, but who you're becoming together. A couple I worked with in Berlin took this step seriously. They bought 5 small pots and planted herbs they could care for together: basil, mint, rosemary. Those little plants became a symbol of something growing again. Their apartment hadn't changed in a decade, but now it felt like a new home. And somehow, they felt like new partners too. Step 3. Say the loving words, even when you think they're obvious. We often stop saying, "I love you," or "thank you," not because we don't feel it, but because we assume the other person already knows. But that's where we go wrong. When you've been with someone for a long time, that's when they need to hear it most. Make it a goal to express appreciation every single day. Say, "Thank you," when they fold the laundry. Say, "I missed you," even if you've only been apart for a few hours. Write a sticky note and leave it in their lunchbox. Text them during a stressful day, "You're doing great. I believe in you." One husband from Ireland started doing something simple yet profound. Every morning before leaving for work, he wrote one sentence on a post-it note and stuck it on the fridge. Sometimes it was silly, sometimes it was sweet. One day, he wrote, "Thank you for always remembering the little things I forget." His wife found it after a long day and quietly cried in the kitchen. Words have power. They remind us that we're still chosen, still noticed, still cherished. Step 4. Share the little things again, because they're actually big. One of the most heartbreaking signs of disconnection is silence, not the peaceful kind, but the empty kind. The kind where you stop sharing because you think, what's the point? But connection is built on the small, seemingly insignificant moments. A funny dream, a bad day, a childhood memory, a craving for late-night cereal. These are the things that say, you matter to me. I want you to know what's on my mind. Start small. At dinner, ask, what made you smile today? Or, if you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go? Questions that open doors, not just exchange data. I know a couple in Toronto who play a game called Weirdest Thing I Saw Today. Every night, they each share one quirky thing from their day. They laugh, they listen, and through that silly game, they found their way back to each other, one story at a time. Step 5. Experience something new, together. When was the last time you and your partner did something for the first time? Marriage often slides into autopilot. You go to the same restaurants, watch the same shows, follow the same routines, but novelty awakens the brain. It brings excitement, surprise, and joy, the very ingredients that bonded you in the first place. Try something new together. Sign up for a pottery class. Take dance lessons. Go to a jazz bar even if you don't know a thing about jazz. Learn a language. Try cooking a dish from a country neither of you have visited. There's a couple in Amsterdam I know who began painting portraits every Saturday night. They weren't artists, but they made it a ritual. Music playing, paint everywhere. Sometimes the paintings were disasters. But the laughter, the eye contact, the quiet moments, that was the real masterpiece. Let's pause here. These steps aren't complicated, but they require heart, consistency, and a belief that your love story is worth refreshing, not because it's broken, but because it deserves to grow. And in the next part, I want to share with you a story, one that may sound familiar. A couple who nearly lost each other to routine, but found their way back. Not through grand gestures, but through simple changes, the kind you can make too. Shall we begin? Part 2. Clara and Benjamin, A Marriage on the Edge, and the Way Back. Clara and Benjamin met the way many modern couples do, through mutual friends and shared ambitions. He was a rising automotive designer in Munich, and she managed a boutique hotel just off Marienplatz. Both were smart, driven, and deeply committed to building a good life. And for the first few years of marriage, that's exactly what they did. They bought a condo, traveled through Italy, and welcomed 2 children into their world. Life, on paper, looked beautiful, but beneath the picture-perfect exterior, something was quietly shifting. Clara's job demanded unpredictable hours. She often worked weekends, juggling guest complaints and staffing emergencies. Benjamin, on the other hand, was buried in his projects, sometimes losing track of time entirely as he tinkered in his garage or sketched out blueprints in his home office. Evenings became a blur of quick dinners, catching up on chores, and managing bedtime meltdowns. There were no fights, no screaming matches, just silence. The kind that creeps in and fills the spaces where laughter used to live. One Wednesday evening, Benjamin came home to an unusually quiet apartment. The kids were already asleep. Clara was sitting at the kitchen table, her laptop open but untouched. She looked tired, not just from the day, but from something deeper. They exchanged the usual, how was work? Did Max finish his homework? Did we pay the electricity bill? Then Clara went to bed without another word. The next morning, Benjamin couldn't find his charger and opened Clara's nightstand drawer, expecting to find a plug. Instead, he found a small leather-bound notebook. Her handwriting on the first page stopped him cold. I feel like I'm living with a roommate who doesn't see me. We share a life but not a heart. I miss him, but I'm not sure he'd notice if I was gone for a week. Some days, I want to pack a bag and go, not to hurt him, but just to feel alive again. Benjamin sat down, stunned. He hadn't known. Not really. He thought she was just tired. He thought they were fine. But her words, so raw and quiet, broke something open in him. Instead of confronting her in anger or panic, he did something he'd never done before. He called a marriage counselor. Not to fix her, but to understand what he had missed. In one of the first sessions, the counselor asked, "When was the last time you made your wife feel chosen?" Benjamin couldn't answer. The counselor introduced him to the same 5 steps we talked about earlier. And instead of brushing them off as too simple, Benjamin made a vow. He would practice all 5 for 1 month. Even if Clara didn't notice at first, even if it felt awkward, he would show up for her, and for the marriage he'd taken for granted. He began with step 1, scheduling time just for them. He told Clara, "Every Friday night, I want us to have dinner, just the 2 of us. No screens, no kids, no work. I'll cook, or we'll order in, but it's our time." She raised an eyebrow, but she said yes. Then came step 2, refreshing their home. Benjamin surprised Clara by rearranging their small balcony space with fairy lights. 2 cozy chairs, and a little potted olive tree, her favorite. It wasn't fancy, but it was intentional, and Clara started joining him out there after the kids were asleep. Step 3 was the hardest, speaking love out loud again. Benjamin had always been quiet, but now, he made an effort to say, "Thank you," when Clara folded his laundry. "You look beautiful," when she rushed off to work in a messy bun. And, "I love you," not as a habit, but as a choice. Then came step 4, sharing the small stuff. One night, he told Clara about a childhood memory, how he once tried to build a model car out of cereal boxes. She laughed so hard she cried. And for the first time in months, they talked for hours. And finally, step 5, trying something new together. Benjamin signed them up for a weekend pottery class. At first, Clara protested, "We don't have time." But she went. And watching each other mold shapeless clay into something imperfect but shared, it sparked something quiet and lovely between them. 4 weeks turned into 6. 6 turned into 3 months. Clara didn't leave. In fact, she started writing in her journal again, but this time with words like hope, lightness, and us. On their anniversary, Benjamin gave her back the journal. He had bookmarked a page and added his own note. "You're not invisible. You're my favorite person in the world. I see you. I choose you. Every single day." They weren't magically perfect after that. Life was still busy. The kids still got sick. Deadlines still loomed. But something fundamental had changed. They were no longer surviving their marriage. They were living in it again, with their eyes, their hearts, and their hands open. The story of Clara and Benjamin isn't rare. It might even feel a little too familiar. And that's the point. Too often, we believe that losing connection is the natural cost of a long-term relationship. That it's normal for love to fade, for conversations to dry up, for physical intimacy to turn cold. We tell ourselves it's just a phase. Or we quietly accept a life of silent companionship, secretly grieving the love that once was. But marriage doesn't have to grow old in all the wrong ways. It's not meant to be a quiet resignation, it's meant to be a living, breathing relationship that can evolve, deepen, and yes, feel new again. The 5 steps we've explored today aren't grand secrets. They don't require thousands of dollars, perfect communication skills, or elaborate plans. What they do require is intention, presence, and a willingness to believe that your love story still matters. Because it does. Whether you've been married 5 years or 20, whether you're barely speaking or just feel distant in the everyday noise of life, you can begin again. Not with fireworks, but with small, steady sparks. Set aside time for each other, even when it feels inconvenient. Speak love out loud, even when it feels rusty. Refresh your space, even if it's just lighting a candle. Share something about your day, even if it feels silly. And try something new together, even if it makes you laugh at how awkward it is. Do these things not just to save your marriage, but to honor it, to remember why you chose this person in the first place, and to make sure they know they are still your favorite place to come home to. Start today, and maybe this version of your marriage will be the most beautiful one yet. If you found this video meaningful, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. If you're facing unresolved challenges in your own marriage, we invite you to share your story in the comments below. We read every message, and we hope our words of encouragement will give you the strength to keep going. Even on the hardest days, we're here with you, and we look forward to seeing you again in the next episode.